Cardiac pulmonary resuscitation. We heard that more than once yesterday during our conversation on Weekend Deal when we're talking about basic life-saving skills and responding to emergencies. It's all about you. When you show up, you can be sure that I'll be right here every Saturday and Sunday, and today is no different. If you're wearing high heels, those staircases, you know what you got to do. If there's no carpet, tread carefully. For the elderly too, we urge them to be very cautious. Ensure that the staircase is dry. If you know you have slippery fingers or you sweat, wear gloves. But there is more. My name is Thelma Obaze. For that more, patience with the justice to it. How are you doing, darling?
Oh, Thelma, have I told you this morning you're looking gorgeous?
Woo,
You're taking gorgeousness to another level.
Girl, amazingness is your other name.
Oh, yes, it's all about life-saving skills and responding to emergency situations this weekend. It is your favorite weekend show, Weekend Deal, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it is your favorite weekend show, Weekend Deal, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. It's about life skills and responding in emergency situations. Our background today, as always, will just set the tone, kickstart our conversation. But quickly, let me tell you, Francis spoke with Dr. Tell me what name?
Dr. Larry.
Dr. Larry. And Dr. Larry said that in other climes, not only are human beings aware of life skills and already practicing it, animals are also being trained to carry out life skills. I can't wait to see this. I'm sure you can't wait too. Let's see it together.
Basic life-saving skills are very, very key and important skills that every individual, human being, should have. This is as important in some settings that they even train animals to be able to do some of these things, even dogs in some settings. So every human being should be able to do it because you don't know where this can happen. Anybody can have emergency at any time, either on the road, in the house, in schools, in public places. Emergencies can take place, and it's very, very important that these skills, basic skills that can make a difference between life and death, in terms of resuscitating someone that has an acute emergency. They are very basic. You don't need to be a doctor or a nurse to be able to learn some of these basic life skills that can make a difference between life and death. Being able to save someone that is choking, for example, you are eating on your dining table and suddenly a 2-year or 4-year-old boy just accidentally is choking on a piece of meat. A basic life-saving skill, some maneuvers can save that boy from being dead within a few minutes. So imagine the father, the mother there, if they don't have that skill, they'll just look helpless watching their child die. Even if you rush to hospital, between when you get from your house to the hospital, maybe more than 5-10 minutes, which may have resulted in death. Others include basic cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Somebody suddenly becomes unresponsive. You were talking to somebody, just dropped. Like what even happened during football field? You remember people just drop it. And the difference between people on the field being able to start CPR. I remember a case in US, American football, when a footballer just suddenly dropped. The team members started CPR, that's cardiopulmonary resuscitation. And it made a lot of difference in the life of that particular player, life and death. The player is alive now, even playing football. Compared to some other setting, even in our local setting here, where people drop in our Premier League, just suddenly drop there. And just because people don't have that basic skill can make a lot of difference, because time sometimes is key in being able to deliver these skills before you get to an expert who will do it better. But if common men and women, parents, even children are able to learn these skills. It can make a lot of difference. There are many respiratory emergencies, actually. Maybe we should start from the common one that we have, something like asthma. It has to do with the respiratory system. So if you have somebody already that knows this one is asthmatic, or you are going on the street, somebody is just having this noisy breathing, you know there is something wrong. One of the first questions you can ask such person is, are you asthmatic? So one of the things you can do, that's why we tell every asthmatic that they should have their inhaler with them, because it can make a lot of difference. Because these people, once they are exposed to dust, maybe smoke or something on the streets, they can begin to have severe respiratory symptoms. So that's why inhaler and all that can make a lot of difference in such a patient that have acute emergency. That's one of the commonest respiratory problems we have. One of the things you need to do if there's a fire incident is to make sure you find the nearest place for you to actually exit. Based on the protocol of each of the individual building or institution that you're in, normally that should be it. Then there should also be some form of control in the buildings where sprayers that can actually quench fires and all that. But in case it occurs, the most important thing with fire is the inhalation problem. Aside from the burns that you have on the skin, the inhalation of carbon monoxide, which are dangerous gases that actually kill people. So you even have a situation where somebody's body is not burnt, but they inhaled very dangerous gases, and that will kill them. So we call that inhalation injury, or even burns that patient may die from easily. First aid may start from something as being able to manage a small cut at home before you get to the hospital, where proper suturing will be done. For example, if you have a laceration or a cut that is bleeding, if you don't control that bleed, the person may bleed. Even if it's an artery that is involved, the person may bleed before getting to the hospital. So one of the things you can do is to apply pressure. If, for example, it's on the limb, apply pressure, raise that part of the limb up to prevent the person hemorrhaging to death before getting to where they will actually receive care. So that kind of first aid may make a lot of difference between somebody surviving a small cut that affects an artery and someone that is just rushing to the hospital directly. The right attitude should actually be that you call, first of all, the emergency services. Instead of people just gathering around, sometimes you even see they are even choking the patient, they are not allowing them to breathe and all that. So the first thing is to call the experts. For example, maybe ambulance, or is it the police, or maybe road safety, to come, the first responders, that's the paramedics. We don't really have them that much in the country, but in the other climes, they are the people you call first, 911. They will send the appropriate emergency response to such things. Even when people have accidents, there is a way to carry them so that you don't complicate their injury more. For example, maybe somebody that has neck injury, sometimes it may just be partial. By the time you carry them anyhow, you already become complete. It may make a difference between somebody being paralyzed for life. So that's why even sometimes it's better to leave them where they are, instead of just because there is a technique to also lift, for example, accident patients.
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on basic life-saving skills, responding in emergencies.
Basic life-saving skills are what we need to counter natural disasters or domestic accidents, wherever accidents occur. But what we ask ourselves, how quick are the first responders? How adequately prepared are we? I know we have safety professionals, but Nigerians, do you know basic life-saving skills? Well, it's on you. The program is here. Be a part. It's interactive. Send in your messages and listen to learn to make positive impact. I'm talking about safety professionals. We have one here today on Weekend Deal. So we learn firsthand what the experience is like and perhaps what we need to know. Let's meet, greet, and welcome Joy Oluchi Wabani. She's a safety professional with the Red Cross. We'll see her profile and we get to meet her.
Hi, thank you. for
You're
having me.
welcome.
Good morning. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome, Joy. Okay, our next guest is no stranger to life-saving skills, a renowned physiotherapist. Join me in welcoming Mr. Dr. Mbamalu Chibuike. We'll see his profile first.
We welcome you.
Welcome. Welcome
Nice
to
one.
Weekend Deal.
Okay, now we're ready for our discount. But before we get to the nitty-gritty, let's touch base with Port Harcourt, where they are focused on dealing with respiratory emergencies. It will also be a part of our discuss.
What's wrong with her?
You not feel breathe, so I don't know why.
Respiratory emergency is a situation in which a victim is usually in respiratory distress and often unable to inhale enough oxygen sufficient for basic body requirements to function.
Respiratory emergencies generally occur in all age groups. Children can come up with bronchopneumonia. Adults can come up with asthma. Even at old age, people get asthma. So, and when they have a respiratory emergency, the first thing is they have difficulty in breathing.
If you have a child who sometimes at cold weather begin to complain of chest pain and begin to cough often and probably complain of difficulty in breathing, if the child cannot complain but the child coughs often, and then you could notice that the child's breathing is becoming hard or faster. When you have such child, that child should be assessed by a doctor. So you don't have to wait for the emergency.
Like your car needs fuel, petrol, our brain needs oxygen and glucose to function. So if it is not there, you will become asphyxiated. Air is too important for our life. If air does not get to your brain, in 5 minutes you're dead.
Excuse me. So this goes in through her nose and some even through her mouth. And then it goes to help to open the airway so that she could have a patent airway to enable oxygen go in, because asthmatic condition is a physiological condition in which there is hyper-responsiveness of the air of the respiratory tract to allergens. Consequently, when that happens, there will be inflammatory reaction that will cause obstruction and free flow to air. So what we're doing now is to ensure that the airway begins to open. And then we're also going to augment with other medications. Right here, we're going to use aminophylline in infusion and titrates as time goes on. If you come to a scene where somebody suddenly cannot breathe, the question should be, as a lay person, what is the factor necessary for this difficulty in breathing or inability to breathe? However, like drowning in the river, in such case, you should know that the person would have swallowed a lot of water. There would have been water blocking the airway. So it's your duty at that time to see how you can expel some of the water, how you can remove some of the water through any possible means. But the simplest way is to apply pressure on the abdomen. When you put pressure here, you push some of the water, because you create a negative reflux from here, and then the person will eventually vomit some of the water. And then when you notice that the person's breathing is, worsening, you can also support by doing some what we call CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. You should know how to put your hand on the left side of the chest like this. CPR means, it's called cardiopulmonary resuscitation. That is what it means. Trying to see how you can use the manual means to keep the heart, a failing heart, to keep a failing heart from beating, maintain the beating of the heart. And then in doing CPR too, you should know that the person should be lying supine. Then you should be lying in this position. It's not the time to, sometimes when people are having respiratory emergency and eventually there is fainting, they begin to prevent them from falling. Now, falling will help the person. Because at that time, if the person is lying supine, it takes the heart a minimal effort to supply blood even to the brain.
Lending a helping hand to save a life should be our attitude towards one another.
Okay. Look at me just staring and watching. That was good. Thank you for our guests are here. I will dig right into the cake. The cake now being our conversation. Okay, while Dr. Chubeke,
Yes.
why that before this one, the other doctor said that when there is an accident, the way you carry the patient, that struck me. The way you might be trying to help, meanwhile you're killing the patient. So there's a way you lift injured people. You just don't rush there because the person has an injury and you just carry, thinking you're helping, you might be killing the person. So talk more about that.
Okay, whenever there is an accident, most of the times you don't know how the victim actually fell. If the car somersaulted and the person now hit his head on the roof of the car, there is a possibility that there could be cervical fracture, which can expose the spinal cord. It can as well, depending on how the impact of the accident, it can affect the spine, whether lumbar spine or thoracic spine. So whatever you're doing, you need to kind of make sure that the spine is on good alignment.
How do you do that for a common man who doesn't know
Okay,
the lumbar?
Okay,
How do you do
for
it?
a common man,
Yes.
one, you require the kind of to find a way to scoop the person from the accident, from the scene. You don't just carry the leg, the other person carries the hand. No, the spine will be exposed, the cord. And most of the spinal cord injuries that have actually happened as a result of the way the rescuing team was
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So most of the times the accident happens, it does not actually affect the spinal cord. It is the way the person is handled from the scene. So if there is a way that the car is actually squashed in such a way that the victim can't be pulled out, most of the times they try to kind of make sure they draw the car to make sure that there is space to be able to scoop the person out of the car in order not to injure the spinal cord. Because the worst thing that will happen is when someone now develops complete spinal cord injury. That's it for the rest of the person's
Wow.
life.
Wow.
The person is gone forever.
Wow. What is it like when you are called and you know you have to be calm and you are the person, you are that angel to prevent that person from dying? What is it like once you get to the venue or the location of the accident?
Okay. So, being a skilled first aider, because it's one thing to have the desire to help, and it's another thing to actually be skilled on what to do when you get there. You already know what you do to get there. When you get there, the first thing, we have an acronym of Dr. ABCD, although some suggest Dr. SABCD, which is to send for help. But when you get there are sequence of actions that you should take as a skilled first aider or someone with the knowledge of first aid. You don't just go there and then you want to start helping immediately.
But what do you take with you when you're even going? What do you take with you?
Okay, now, in as much as we go with things, we don't train people to always rely on going with things, because you should be able to improvise when it comes to helping people. A first aider is not like a doctor or a nurse that maybe you are going to the hospital or something. You can literally be on the road and then something happens. What can you do? Your ability to improvise with what you have around you
It's very key.
Yes, it's very key and makes a lot of difference. So the first thing to check out for is danger. For instance, if there's an accident scene and this is just happening just by the road, or maybe like the position of the vehicle at that moment is very critical. Going right there to help the person, you have to check. We don't believe in you are going to help somebody and you yourself is also becoming a victim as well, like another casualty.
So you should not endanger yourself.
Exactly. So there was a case, exactly. There was a case of an accident scene when people are trying to help another person and then another vehicle was just coming like this and then,
My goodness.
cleared them, and then we have extra casualties. What did you do? You're not able to help. So the number one thing is to first of all check out for danger first before you now go in to assist. Then you are checking for response, and then D is danger. Then the R is check for response. Then you send for help. While you're doing that, your airline, your airways, check for airways, and all the rest of them. There's like
Okay.
down to when you apply your CPR or whatsoever. After you have diagnosed what is going on, and then what you can do. If it's something that is safe, then you can start helping the person at the spot. But if it's something that is not safe, then you look for how to gradually move the person. Although, like the doctor said, you don't just move people anyhow. Yes, there's always a sequence.
All this should be in a matter of minutes.
Yes,
Not talking about-
exactly.
yes.
That's why
Because
it's
you need to move
happening
swiftly,
like
right?
very fast. So as you are getting there, it's just like you're just getting here now, and then you see someone on the floor. You don't just walk up because subconsciously you already know it as a skilled first aider. That if you get there, you just look around. Maybe there is a spillage, or maybe there's water and there's an electric wire connected to it. There's something, so you don't just bump into a scene of accident or a scene where you just see things. It's just something that happens in seconds. Wow. So as you get there, the consciousness just helps you.
Oh,
Let's go to Yenagoa first. Talking about drowning. Drowning prevention and
Yenagoa.
rescue. But of course, we'll get to see Talato's report later in the show.
Drowning is becoming a health emergency for humans in recent times. States where larger parts are covered in water are the most affected. This is because people who live in these areas have their primary life activities evolving around water. They have, from onset, incorrectly assumed that every inhabitant should know how to swim because swimming is a major saving factor to drowning.
Swimming is something which every person, every individual should know how to swim. One, for safety, then two, even for leisure. And you know, swimming is the best form of exercise.
Drowning can occur anywhere and at any time, as its causes are peculiar to all. It can happen in deep waters, narrow creeks, ponds, swimming pools, big and small rivers, canals, and big gutters. But studies have shown that its causes are different.
When someone is being drunk and is close to a swimming pool or a river or a canal, that causes drowning.
Drowning occurs mostly in high-traffic recreational swimming areas, such as ocean beaches and public swimming pools. Supervision and provision of training experts should be considered in such places.
When it comes to swimming pool, it's a must that both private and government swimming pools, they should have a lifeguard, not only 1, 2, 3 and above.
Water travel stations loading travelers to far or near distances should also be equipped with life-saving tools such as life jackets, first aid kits, as drowning effects are not measured by distance.
As soon as the boat is leaving the waterfront, we make sure that every passenger has his life jacket. That is the law. Out of the 12 passengers in the boat that the boat carries, even though one person doesn't wear life jackets, the boat doesn't leave.
As the causes of drowning are different, so are the rescue processes. Marine experts and swimming professionals explain further.
As a professional, when somebody has drowned and you are there to rescue the person, CPR is very important. It's very important because water has gone into the lungs of the drowned person. So, applying CPR, it makes the person to stabilize his breathing, and that is very important. Where there are no professionals, like in the village, what they do, you see them taking the person at their back, someone that is his feet, running with the person, shaking the person to make sure that the waters that have gone into the lungs, the person will be vomiting it out. So there is another way of, rescuing a drowned victim.
Drowning accidents can also be prevented if standard measures are put in place.
For our safety, we make sure that a particular boat carries the specification of number of persons it carries. They don't overload. They overload is of the risk to the passengers. and the risk to maritime.
To forestall occurrences of drowning accidents, it is pertinent that government bodies or institutions in charge of marine activities ensure that personnel posted are on guard where marine activities are high and other relevant places such as travel stations and recreational swimming areas. Relevant authorities can also make provisions for rescue and CPR training to both children and adults who have regular contact with water occupied spaces as an appropriate way of preventing and rescuing.
I'm calling on the government, to carry out a swimming program in all the schools, both primary and secondary school. In so doing, it will avert future occurrence of drowning in Bayelsa State, in Niger Delta, and Nigeria at large.
Interesting. That was quite in depth. We're really learning, and that's why we're having this discussion, this conversation. We need to take this training to the primary and secondary schools so that everyone, at least, is conscious that it can happen and has basic life-saving skills. Of course, we cannot emphasize the need for lifeguards in our swimming anywhere there's a pool of water. But it's something she said. She said that when you want to rescue someone who is drowning, sometimes in villages, they carry the person on the shoulder, and that helps the water to be emitted as the person is running. How key is that to rescue operations, for example, where you try to rescue someone who's drowning? Joy, you're looking at me so intently. Please let me start with you. Good one.
Okay, so the thing is, when it comes to first aid, I would just say first and foremost, in Nigeria, we have the heart to help. A lot of people want to help. But when it comes to first aid, it has to be skilled so that you can be given the right assistance. Do you understand? So a lot of people have different sequences that have worked for them.
By skilled, you mean the person should be trained?
Yes, you should be trained to know how to help people. There's certain countries that you go to, and it's like basic for you to have a level of understanding on first aid to be able to help people. So, but
is Nigeria there yet?
But we're not there yet.
Towards it.
Yes. So, and it's one thing that we do in Nigerian Red Cross. We actually train people on first aid. We have school units where children are being trained on what to do during first aid. Even communities, actually, we have trainings in those communities where we give them life saving
skills,
capacities. Yes. But I want to say something regarding your question on drowning. Now, when it comes to drowning, a lot of people have different ways they have tried. But I wouldn't say you project what worked for you, especially when you know it's not
authentic way to do it.
The day we had a little argument when someone said he was explaining what he did in a training. He was explaining what he did to save someone that was drowning in water. He came from the front and he grabbed the person and he was able to pull the person, and he was insisting that was the right way. I said, you were just lucky. You were just lucky that day that you came in front of someone who was drowning and you carried him. You can't advise someone else to do that, because for someone who is drowning, he or she is struggling for air. He's struggling for life. They will literally get you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Panicking.
They can if they get hold of you, they can pull you down.
They can drown you. Yes.
Yes. So there's actually a skilled way to do everything. There's a skilled way to help someone.
Where you hold the person from, if not in front.
So since that was wrong, Abby, tell us the appropriate way to do.
So first and foremost, if you are outside, it's better to throw. If you don't know how to
swim.
If you don't know how to swim,
okay.
The fact that you know how to swim does not mean you know how to rescue someone who's drowning.
It's true.
Yes, because you can get there and become a victim yourself.
Okay.
So if you are standing outside and you are trying to rescue someone who's drowning inside, if there's a stick close to you, you put out a stick and help to pull the person. No matter how fat or big the person is, when the person is in water, the person is lighter to pull. So if you pull out a stick, you can pull the stick from this side. So the only difficulty you might have or you need assistance for is to
when
pull
it
the
gets
person
the edge.
out. When the person gets closer to safety, then you can pull the person out. If you have a rope, you can do that, or the lifeguard.
So all this is watching movies where they just jump in.
But sometimes people who are trained, especially close to water, there are always people, especially in a very organized environment. There are always people who can rescue, who is around. There are different ways people do that. Some people can pull from behind.
One thing that happens regularly and often is choking.
Yes.
People choke. They are eating in the restaurant, somebody is choking, a baby is choking.
Yes.
Where do we hit? We give direct blow to where? Because me, I'm confused about where to hit.
Some people have been hitting them at the
back. Some people say it's the
That's
chest,
the right
some people
way.
say it's the... Where do I hit? And what kind of blow? Is it very serious blow like you want to fight? Or is gentle tap?
It's not a
blow like you it's fight.
Like a box. But we give 5 back blows behind the 2 shoulder blades, right in the middle there. And then you put your hand like this.
Okay, so it's not a punch.
It's not a punch.
Yes.
No, you're not punching.
When you say blow,
no, it's not like this. You're not punching.
After the choking, you go to the hospital.
Yes,
After the because
yes,
of blow.
you put your hand like this. Yes.
Okay.
So you are hitting the heel of your palm like this. Like this. Exactly.
Wow.
Behind the 2 shoulder blades. Yes. It's 5 back blows. And if, for instance, you're not getting response, then we'll do the abdominal thrust.
yes. When we talk about life-saving skills, the physiotherapists, what would be your role talking about that? They come to you in the hospital?
Yes.
You work with them afterwards?
Yes.
Tell us about the recovery process. What is it like?
Okay. One is
Like this choking, for example. They bring somebody who has been choking and you've done the right way, you've done it 5 times. But the thing hasn't come out, or would it have come out after just doing the 5 rapid hits?
most of the times it can come out. Once you do that and it doesn't work, you can now do what we call Heimlich maneuver. So just beneath the diaphragm.
Yeah.
You understand? So you give
Beneath the diaphragm.
Yes. You
So
give
tell us where that diaphragm is located. Just where your hand is.
just where my hand is.
Okay.
So you give an inward. It's going to be a forceful inward and upward thrust.
After the
Yes.
If that one doesn't work,
Yes, if that one doesn't work. So once you do that, you can now look at the mouth and know whether something has come out.
Okay.
If it hasn't come out, you continue. But when you are doing it, there is possibility that the person can go into, can stop breathing. Unconsciousness. So if the person stops breathing, then you begin CPR immediately.
But that thing has gone. What if
when-
it has gone down? What if the thing? I know somebody who swallowed his what they call this, the denture. Is it this false this thing? He swallowed it while eating, and they didn't get it out at the dinner or lunch table. It was with his family, and the thing went in with the meat he was biting.
If it has gone in, fortunately, it's no more blocking the airway. If it has gone in very well, it won't block the airway anymore.
Okay,
the
so
person
it
will be
will
breathing again. So the only thing you just need to do is to now see a general surgeon that can decide to kind of remove it.
What happens when it stops here?
If it stops there, then the only option you have to do, you keep doing your CPR and you've already sent for help. So, but if the person becomes unconscious, you don't have any option. You keep doing it until help comes. You move the person to the
If we
hospital.
did
So
CPR for that choking person, okay, even when the thing is there, okay.
Okay,
That's
so,
the option.
I mean, we kind of emphasize, if you hear everything we've said, after the intervention, the first intervention, the need for the person to get to a proper hospital is important.
Very important.
We need ambulances, we need first responders in Nigeria. We need people to be a number we can call and an ambulance will come like other climes. Okay, like I said before we went to Yanagua, it is time for us to see what our producer of the day, Talatu Lande, has. Basic first aid. Let's watch.
Accidents can happen anywhere, anytime. But with basic first aid knowledge, you can make a difference between life and death. When dealing with bleeding, remember the acronym CAP. Apply pressure directly to the wound. Elevate the injured area above heart level. Secure with a clean cloth or bandage. In case of cardiac arrest, act fast. Follow these steps. Call for help. Start compressions. Give rescue breaths. Continue the cycle until medical help arrives. For burns, remember the 3 C's. Run cool water over the hurt for 10 minutes. Gently clean the area with mild soap and water. Use a non-stick dressing or bandage.
It is one thing for you to have a well-stocked first aid kit. It is another thing for you to know how to use it. Basic techniques like, for instance, someone like we have burns injury at home at times, gas explosion, injury from hot water and co. Generally, like I always explain to people that it is better you know how to take care of it. Somebody that hot water poured on accidentally, we should know that you expose the person to cold water. Pour cold water on the person. Don't rub it. Pour cold water on the person, or the person is having burns injury from fire. Pour cold water on that person. Don't. Some people will say pour pap, pour egg, pour this. You don't do all those things.
When dealing with broken bones, remember rice. Immobilize the affected area. Apply ice packs for 15 to 20 minutes. Use an elastic bandage. Elevate the injured area above heart level.
But infection control is of utmost priority because the person giving the first aid should be prevented, and also the person it is being given to should also be prevented. That the environment should be safe, the environment should be neat in order to prevent transmission of some microorganisms from one person to the other, or even exposing some other people or even the person who needs it or the caregiver to infection, because you never can tell the immunity of either the receiver or the giver.
Infection control and a safe environment are crucial when providing first aid to prevent the spread of illnesses and promote effective healing.
It is very, very good to have a well-stocked first aid kit, starting from either sterile or latest glove, or methylated spirit, antiseptics that we can use to rub surface. We can even have some topical cream that works for pain, and we can also have some over-the-counter drugs that I just have mentioned that we put in our first aid kits to use, and also to have sterile gauze in case we have cuts or something that we can use to compress that. Even bandage is something that should also be part of our first aid kit.
A well-stocked first aid kit empowers individuals to respond to emergencies confidently and effectively, bridging the gap until medical professionals can provide further treatment.
I remember as a child, and next to Christmas, one celebration we look forward to was Children's Day. Oh my goodness. Weeks before that time, you're practicing your routine because we usually would have this march past and dance. We looked forward to those days, and it used to be so beautiful. Every 27th of May. This time, Children's Day is tomorrow. It starts tomorrow, 27th of May, right?
It's indeed.
Yes, 27th. We're going to be celebrating Nigerians' children, and of course, it's about togetherness, awareness, and promoting children's rights. Our contribution from Magdalene Ihumona is on Children on the Street. What exactly is she talking about? Let's find out.
Our children, our pride of tomorrow. It is crucial that we nurture and prepare them for the future by investing in their education, well-being, and development. With more and more scenarios like this, some worry what the outcome will be.
It is important for us to know that the safety of our children is as important as our trying to get food for them too. Because these children, they don't understand, they are still young. But what we see today is that nobody any longer bothers about the safety of children.
Research shows that the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, is a global organization that works in over 190 countries, including Nigeria, and their mission remains the same. In line with this, the security agencies are unrelenting and are alert to track and stop this menace. With these ugly occurrences, one wonders who really is to blame.
I think the blame is on everyone, including the law enforcement agencies. Sometimes you see these children all huddled up, a lot of them at the back of a pickup or a keke. The keke is almost, that's the tricycle, almost tipping over. You would see all of us drive past, including the law enforcement agents, including sometimes the federal road safety officials. The second aspect would be that the children, under some kind of peer pressure or peer influence, Some of them really do have pocket money or transport money given to them by parents, but they would rather hoard that money and use it for something else.
Some of these children, when they get to the road, you see them begging for lift. You see them jumping into moving vehicles. You see them, hanging on vehicles like this open van, pickup van. Very, very dangerous. And if parents, close their eyes to all this, it's a very big problem for society.
With the increasingly busy schedule of many parents, in the bid to sustain the family, it is more challenging to render the hands-on care that children require.
To be a parent is a deliberate thing. And so you didn't have these children expecting that all resources will be available. You're supposed to match your competing demands on the resources, on the limited resources that you have. So if you know that you do not have the time, which is a resource, nor the money to always go and pick up these children from school or take them to school, then by all means try and save up some money to subscribe to the school bus system. There is what you can call a deliberate carpooling, which I know is not very popular here, but which should be explored. If my child is going to a school near yours, I'll take the child this week. Next week, you take the child. We do that very conveniently, and it will help.
The Ministry of Education is supposed to come out with a deliberate policy comparing proprietors of schools, including government themselves, to ensure that pupils are adequately demobilized from school back to their home in safety, in view of the fact that the country itself is not very safe for even adults, let alone children.
What will become of our children if this persists?
We need to ask ourselves the very critical questions on a daily basis. We're not going to just wake up as parents and as guardians or school teachers and see our children well trained, they have morals and values. It's up to us to do the work. And keeping them out on the streets for whatever reason will not bring for us, for Nigeria, the leaders that we desire. And the training should have begun yesterday. But now we've seen Magdalene's report. For those who are still lagging behind, every child in Nigeria is ours. A village trains a child. And that's the mantra we promote here on Weekend Deal. I beg your pardon. Meanwhile, Uju has been focused on bullying. Nowadays, it has become rampant in many schools, primary, secondary, even the tertiary level. Let's see what Uju's research has thrust up. Uju, please share. What did you find?
2 inches above the ground. I see bullying as an imbalance of power context between two individuals. The first person who seems to be superior is the bully. Then the victim is the person who is bullied.
I was once bullied in primary 4 when on the day I was playing football. On that day, I was chosen as the goalkeeper. As the opponent team came to score, I did not know that I was the goalkeeper. So as I held it with my hands, he said that it was a handball. I was saying I was the goalkeeper and I can use my hand to catch it. He said it's a lie, you are not the goalkeeper. He now hit my eye.
Bullying is a menace in the educational system. It happens not only in school, it happens at home, it happens in churches, it happens in the mosque. So anywhere you find youth, especially, there must be bullying.
Please, I don't like it. Don't touch her again. Don't touch my sister. Okay? I don't like it.
Bullying is a common culture in schools, and it's bad. What I mean common culture is it happens. There's no school where it doesn't happen. If it is not physical bullying, it will be verbal. And today now in our contemporary society, bullying has also moved online. Instagram is there, Facebook is there. And for people who are online, most of the time, the one online, which we call catfishing, is that they don't use the name of the real person that is being bullied.
I was in primary 2 when I experienced a very disturbing bullying. So I was the class monitor of my class. So they told me that I should share the books. But a girl told me that I should not share it because she was taller than me and she thinks that she can control me. So I told her that. The teacher said that I should share this book, so I need to share it. She started threatening me and told me that if I dare share it, that she will see what will happen to me during the closing period. I felt a little bit scared, but I was bold enough to stand on my right and started sharing the books. When it reached her turn, she started yelling at me and started giving me a bad look.
Bullying can come in different forms. It's not just only by physical contact. Some can use their eyes, eye contact. They use it to bully one another because the way they will look at a younger child, that one will feel frightened. And this bully has caused a lot of things. Some children are dropping out of school.
If you look at the nature of bullying experience, it's a triangular form. We have the school, the parent, and the child. Now, if you are the person who is being bullied, most of the times, the thing remains in the long-term memory for years. So schools and even parents should also encourage sport, like in the house, let children play Ludo game, play chess at home. In school also, let them be active participants in sport activities. There are situations, especially inter-house sports, some people say, I don't want to participate. If not on head ground, they should be encouraged because this is another environment where friendliness is encouraged and promoted. Our responsibility is to make everybody aware of the consequences.
We should be courageous. Be kind. We should be brave. We should choose the right friend. If you are a bully, stop now! You and I must make up. I hope from today onwards, bullying will stop in schools, offices, homes, and everywhere in society. Happy Children's Day to all the children out there.
Happy Children's Day. I believe that with that kind of confidence, if we can train our children to be confident, that confidence alone will stop any bullying. And bullying must be stopped. Bullying, parents, you don't understand, when your child is a bully, it's a reflection of your home. And it doesn't tell well at all. So let's nip it in the bud from our homes. Zero tolerance for bullying. Yeah. So with NTA, we love our children and we always celebrate our children. So recently there was a children's party at NTA. Let's see it.
Children are the future of every society. They carry forward the values, traditions, and knowledge of previous generations, ensuring the continuity and progression of the society. NTA Knowledge organized the 10th edition of Children's Day to acknowledge the unique needs and talents of every child.
NTA is a children's friendly station. Across the world, we have high respect for children, and that is why the interests of children are represented in the way we do our programming.
As parents, the very important thing we can always bequeath our child is our time. Happy Children's Day to you. Are you happy to have this special day?
To celebrate this day, schools within and around the Federal Capital Territory were in attendance with excitement displaying their talents. this year's Children's Day is indeed remarkable, with a special guest in attendance to celebrate with Nigerian children.
The children are the future of every society. The children are the future of every family. The children are the future of every nation. The best we can do for our children today is to inculcate in them moral values.
So what we ask of you, dear children, is for you to do your best. For you to do your best at your academics, because we need your prayers and we need your support to enable us to keep providing and supporting you, our dear children.
It becomes very necessary that we remember that children with disability need our support.
What I am seeing here gives me joy that there is hope for this country. I think the country is growing faster and faster again in the area of fostering unity, love amongst Nigerian society, especially as it involves the Nigerian children.
My message for these beautiful ones: enjoy today. I trust that the environment to grow will be an easy one for you to become amazing adults. Happy Children's Day, and God bless you. Happy Children's Day!
Happy Children's Day!
Children are most precious and valuable. They deserve our love, care and protection for a better tomorrow. To all Nigerian children, Happy Children's Day.
Every Nigerian child is our child. I told you about our mantra here. A community, a village, a city, a state, a nation trains a child. So don't say, it's not my child. This one is my own. Oh. When you train your child and ignore all the others you come across, is your child not going to grow up and go and meet those other children in the society? So every child you see, inculcate in them good values and morals. Now let's marry these our young leaders. Let's marry their upbringing, their progress and development to safety skills. They need to learn it, don't they? And we need to impact it on them in the best possible way. So how ought we to proceed?
So it's very important that our children right now, children are very prone to knowledge, and the media is full of a lot of information. So, but it's very important that if they're under our care, they get the right information. They get the right information to help. Even in Nigerian Red Cross, we have our school units, our little children who are being trained on first aid and all of that. So to celebrate them, I would want to encourage that would give the children also that knowledge. Don't feel there because they're small, because at every kind of level they can learn something. Information is out there, so they need to learn the right thing.
Talking about safety and children, let's say one of their friends fall down. What do I tell them to do?
Okay.
What should they learn?
Okay, basically they should. I love the way the private schools, I don't know about government schools, the way they're teaching them on some life-saving skills. Like in my son's school, they're already teaching them swimming, which is very, very good. Before, I was a stone. Once I enter inside the water,
You're going down.
I'm going down straight away. So, but I had an incident that actually happened when I was in secondary school. We went for a picnic and somebody drowned. Unfortunately, none of us knew how to swim. And we're looking at before
and of course, you didn't know CPR as well, or basic life-saving skills.
Before somebody that could help could come, it was already late. And since then, I told myself I must learn how to swim. And immediately I gave birth to my children. I had to enroll them to start learning swimming immediately. So it's better that they learn it when they are growing up, when it is easy for them to learn. So it's very important. On the issue of if maybe they are playing and they get themselves injured, most of the times they usually come up with bombs. Maybe they hit their head somewhere or their leg, or when they are playing ball or whatever. So usually, as physiotherapists, we make use of what we call RISE or PRIZE. PRIZE means if they are playing and it happened, the P stands for protection. So you protect the victim from that environment, from having further injury. Then the second one is R, which it has to do with rest. You rest the area. The next thing you need to do is eyes application. The essence of eyes application in physics, they say that once heat is being applied on, there is expansion. In why if cold is being applied on, there is contraction. So in human physiology, if heat is being applied on, there is vasodilation of the vessels. And if ice is applied on, there is vasoconstriction of the vessels. So once somebody injures, instead of using aboniki, any hot gel or cream, applying on the area, what you need to do is to, first of all, if you apply ice, ice will shrink the place and prevent fluid accumulation that will make the place to be swollen. So it will make sure that the place is constricted. Then the next thing you need to do is compression, making use of bandage. It mustn't be tight. Just use bandage around there to compress the area so that the fluid accumulation won't be there. And the next thing you need to do is to elevate the area so that gravity can assist. So that's the principles of price. P-R-I-C-E. So once you apply it in most acute injuries that has to do with bombs, sprains.
Now, we've not talked about bite. When there's a sting or a bite at home, quickly we are wrapping up. What do you do?
Okay, situation whereby there is a bite, either scorpion sting or snake bite. What you just need to do is you need to find out whether if it is poisonous, if it's a very poisonous one, because in most cases it do not cause cardiac arrest or affect the individual. So, but what you do is you need to use a tourniquet. If there is no tourniquet, you can make use of tie
and tie the place
or stockings and tie the
above.
Then once you tie it, if you suspect that it's poisonous, you can just give a little cut.
So the blood will come
out.
out.
The blood can come out. Then you apply ice.
Okay.
The ice there is to reduce
swelling. Epilepsy, we cut you halfway. Onions. Why is it important?
Yeah, so it actually helps people who have epilepsy. If they know their alarm moments, you actually use it. But for Mr. Tunde, when you are helping someone and then it's crowded and people are everywhere, you can just introduce yourself, ask people to give you space so that you can attend to the person. Let them know that you know what to do.
It's been great having you guys. Taking it away. We're going. God bless Nigeria.